Hi everybody, my name's Rebecca and welcome back to My Bookish Travels. This is another year in review video and it is the 12 books I want to read in 2023. So I have 12 books, I have 6 hardcovers and 6 paperbacks that have been on my to be read shelf for a very long time. Today I'm going to explain the initial reason why I purchased this book and kind of bring back that excitement of why I wanted to read it in the first place. I'm not going to really go into a lot of detail. If you guys are curious to find out, the synopsis of the book, it's available on Goodreads. If you want to know how long it's been on my to be read shelf, feel free to check out my Goodreads and it'll tell you how long it's been sitting on that shelf for. So without further ado, these are in no particular order. I'm going to go through the hardcovers and then the paperbacks. So here we go. The first book that I have is Room by Emma Donoghue. I was just so intrigued by the actual premise of this story, which I don't remember a lot, but I do know that it's told from a young boy's point of view, and all he really knows is the room he lives in. So that basically was the main reason why I picked up this book, and I know there is a movie adaptation of this, and I've been holding off watching it because I really want to read this first. The next one on the list is Jo and Laurie by Margaret Stohl and Melissa De La Cruz. For those that have not read Little Women, just mute me. Don't watch this. If you don't care if you get spoiled on Little Women, listen. Most likely you know what I'm going to talk about based on this title, but if you don't and you don't want to be spoiled, I cannot be held accountable if you don't mute me. So the reason why I picked this up is because when I was younger, I was so mad that Jo and Laurie did not end up together, even though they are so similar. I recently reread Little Women, and I read it with my mom, and I was 100% like, nope, Laurie was definitely not who Jo was meant to be with. Jo needed the professor. So I am very intrigued to see if my younger self would love this book, would love the direction it takes and everything like that. So I had to pick this up. The next one I have is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I bought this because I absolutely loved Everything, and I'm sure I'm going to love this. If I don't, I will be disappointed, but I also know that not everything an author writes is 100% guaranteed to be something you love. But I loved Everything, and I expect I'm going to enjoy this one just as much. And there's also a movie adaptation for this that I would like to watch. Next, I have Dust City by Robert Paul Weston. And this story, the reason why I was so intrigued by it and bought it from the start is because it's told from the wolf's perspective from Little Red Riding Hood, or the son of the wolf from Little Red Riding Hood. I can't remember which one now, but I remember this being spoken about by the Readables, and they were explaining it, and I was just so intrigued by it that I had to purchase a copy of it as well because I thought it sounded really unique and original, and that's why I want to read it. Next, I have Acid by Emma Pass. The main reason I want to read this is one of my friends read this and absolutely loved it, and I really wanted to read it because I know we have very similar reading styles for books we like, and I'm just so intrigued, and I really want to read this. And it says up here, just to kind of explain because I don't remember the premise of the book, it says, they stole her life, now she wants it back. So I'm very intrigued, and I think it is about time I read this book. The next one I have is This Is Where It Ends by Marika Nejkamp. I'm probably mispronouncing that name. My sincere apologies. It's not intentional. This one I actually bought when I was in the Netherlands with my friend, and she loved this book. And I, again, knew that if she liked it, I need to read it as well because I will probably like it. It takes place during a few hours of a school shooting, and I just found it a very interesting topic for a book because of the fact that, unfortunately, here in North America, school shootings are something that, unfortunately, are a little bit more prominent in things that happen, And I, as somebody who is not in a school system anymore and did not experience something like that happening to me directly, I felt very intrigued by this story, actually taking you into that situation and not just experiencing it through the news. When you read a book, it does really pull you into seeing something through that character's eyes. Even if it's fictionalized, it's still something that happens in reality. And that is why I really wanted to read this. All right, so the next one that I have is called Adorkable by Sarah Manning. I do not remember the premise of this, but I do know why I bought it. Book Depository once had a 24-hour sale, and every hour they had a different book on sale. I bought a lot during that time, I feel like. This was one of them that came up, and it just sounded very, very intriguing. Honestly, I do not remember the premise. I would have to read the back of this to figure it out, but I just remember being so excited about it that I had to buy it right away, even though I'd never heard of it. And I still haven't heard anybody else talking about it, and I really want to read it to see, is it good? Is it bad? Will I love it? Will I hate it? Who knows? I haven't read it, but next year I'm going to. Oh, guys, this next one I'm so excited about. It is Romancing the Bookworm by Kate Evangelista. Guys, when I saw this, I was like, the title alone is what's getting me on it, but this is the premise. This girl is on holidays. She's forced to kind of go on holidays with her friend, or she's having to work somewhere. Her friends coerced her into it. One of those two things. There is a guy that actually likes her, and she likes someone else. And it's just kind of him trying to romance her based on books she's read. Now, if I'm mistaken, please be aware I haven't read the synopsis yet again since I originally got it. But the synopsis, Romancing the Bookworm? Come on, guys. Like, this is every girl who likes to read's dream, that some guy is going to, like, romance her the way that a book romances the main characters. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but this, guys, honestly, I have been procrastinating because if it sucks, I'm going to be so mad because I've, like, hyped this book up so much in my mind just based on this title alone. So I can't wait to read this one in 2023. I have Blaze, or Love in the Time of Supervillains by Laurie Boyle Crompton. Guys, the title alone, like, I really don't have anything else to say. I bought this for the title and for the cover. Honestly, saw somebody else on BookTube that had read it, and I was like, I need to read this because the title is freaking amazing. The next one is The Comeback Season by Jennifer E. Smith. Obviously, everyone loves Jennifer E. Smith. I have never read anything by her, and because I've not read anything by her, I kind of wanted to read her unknown first novel published, because at least then I can get a feeling for her, because all the other books that she's published, people rave about, and there's so much hype around it that I'm like, I gotta take a step back and introduce myself to the author in a book that I have not heard anyone else talk about, so then I can kind of figure out my own opinions on if I like her or not. The next one is Sarah Dessen's Someone Like You. Obviously, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Sarah Dessen. I read that summer 3 times before I actually came to realize that I actually liked it. So I'm hopeful that now that I've kind of figured out that I do like her writing style, but I kind of have to have my mindset a certain way when I read it, I'm hoping that I will like this one too. And I actually really liked all of these redesigned covers. I think they've done a new, like, cover change for all of her books, which I kind of wish that they'd stick with this, because this I just found very appealing for how they were doing the covers, and this is going to be read next year. I actually don't know anything about it, so it was just a Sarah Dessen novel, and that's why I picked it up. And last but most definitely not least, I have All Roads Lead to Austen, A Year-Long Journey with Jane by Amy Elizabeth Smith. I picked this up because I tried to start a book club with my one friend many years ago and it didn't work, but this was one of the books that we picked to read and we just did not get reading it. But I'm really intrigued by this because it's kind of a bit of a travel novel, but it's also a book that contains somebody reading all of Jane Austen's works. And that's kind of how this one came to be. And it's just sitting on my shelf and I really want to read it. And I don't want it to just keep sitting there because I want to know, am I going to like this? And it's going to involve travel. So while I sit in my bed and read and not travel personally, I can still get to travel with this book in a fictional way. So that is the last one on this list. I'm really excited to read these. I think that they're really unique. They're ones that I haven't seen a lot of people reading. If you see me like looking down, it's because the books are over there. I haven't seen a lot of people reading a lot of these, and they are a little older books, so they don't have as much popularity in the moment. So I'm very excited to read these. I'm so glad that I've set them aside. And those are going to be the 12 books that I want to finish in 2023. So that is everything. I'm excited to read these, and I hope that if you guys have set some books aside to read for next year, what books are they? Why did you choose those ones over other ones? For me, I chose based on the nostalgia factor, and also I wanted them to be standalones, so I'm not opening as many series on my shelf, and that's basically where I'm at for it. So until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you then. Bye!